How are you guys doing? Today is Thursday, December 30th, 2021. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review the Elite matchups and performances from yesterday, Wednesday, December 29th, 2021. And with that said, just to take a quick step back and look where we are with 2 days left in the calendar year. Starting off with everything that's going on with football, we still are in the midst of bowl season as college football teams are slowly ending their seasons one day at a time, or college football teams are ending their seasons, like I said, a week at a time. In the NFL, there's still 2 more weeks in the regular season before we jump into playoff action. And college and pro basketball are well underway with months left to go in their season. And we are at the halfway point of the soccer season, as that's how the soccer season is split down the middle at the very end and top of the 2022 new year. We're about to enter that second half. But with that said, I'm going to start with the collegiate sports here in the States. Starting off with college football, taking a look at what went down with the first bowl game that had 2 ranked opponents. Starting with the Valero Alamo Bowl, the 14th ranked Oregon Ducks faced off against the 16th ranked Oklahoma Sooners. Oklahoma would end up beating Oregon 47-32. Oklahoma won this matchup by 15 after they outscored Oregon 30-3 in the first half. Oregon outscored Oklahoma 29-17 in the second half, but it just wouldn't be enough. On the losing end of this matchup, the 14th ranked Oregon Ducks were led by their starting quarterback, Anthony Brown. Brown threw for 306 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. He also ran for 21 yards, his 327 total yards of offense. Their leading rusher, Travis Dye, had 18 carries for 153 yards and the team's lone rushing touchdown. He also had 28 yards through the air. That is 181 total yards of offense. Oregon's leading receiver, Dante Thornton, had 4 receptions for 90 yards and a touchdown. Their second leading receiver, Troy Franklin, had 4 receptions for 65 yards and a touchdown. Their third leading receiver, Chris Hudson, had 6 receptions for 55 yards and the third receiving touchdown. On the defensive side of the ball, TJ Bass and Jordan Happel led the team in tackles as they each had 9 of them. On the winning end of this matchup, the 16th ranked Oklahoma Sooners were led by their freshman quarterback, Caleb Williams. Williams threw for 242 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also ran for an additional 34 yards. He had 276 total yards of offense. Their leading rusher, Kennedy Brooks, had 14 carries for 152 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. He had 3 receptions for 24 yards through the air. That is 166 total yards of offense. Oklahoma's second leading receiver, Marvin Mims, had 2 receptions for 57 yards as he had a receiving touchdown. On the defensive side of the ball, Pat Fields led Oklahoma in tackles as he had 9 of them. And Justin Broyles would have the team's lone interception as he finished with 6 tackles as well. With this win, the 16th ranked Oklahoma Sooners of the Big 12 will finish their 2021 season with an 11-2 record. And with this loss, the 14th ranked Oregon Ducks of the Pac-12 will finish their 2021 season with a 10-4 record. There was another ranked opponent that had a bowl game yesterday, and first taking a look at what went down in that matchup, the 19th ranked Clemson Tigers would go on to face off against the unranked Iowa State Cyclones. Clemson would end up beating Iowa State 20-13. They outscored Iowa State 6-3 in the first half, and they outscored Iowa State 14-10 in the second half. Keeping it relatively at arm's length for a good chunk of the game in the Cheez-It Bowl. On the losing end of the Cheez-It Bowl, the unranked Iowa Cyclones were led by their starting quarterback, Brock Purdy. He threw for 204 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. He also ran for 14 yards. That's 218 yards of offense for Iowa State. Their leading receiver Jalen Noel had 54 receiving yards on 4 receptions. Their leading tackler, Bo Frailer, finished with 15 tackles. He had the most tackles in the game. And Jake Hummel would finish with the team's lone interception as he had 4 tackles. On the winning end of this matchup, the 19th-ranked Clemson Tigers were led by their starting quarterback, DJ Waigalele. He threw for 187 yards and an interception. He also ran for 12 yards. That's 199 yards of offense. Clemson's leading rusher, Will Shipley, had 18 carries for 61 yards and a touchdown on the ground. He also had 53 yards through the air. That is 114 total yards of offense for Will Shipley with his rushing touchdown. Their second leading rusher, Kobe Pace, had 12 carries for 51 yards. He had 4 receptions for 38 yards as he had 89 total yards of offense. On the defensive side of the ball, Clemson's leading tackler was Trenton Simpson, and Mario Goodrich would finish with an 18-yard pick six. As with this win, the 19th-ranked Clemson Tigers from the ACC will finish their 2021 season with a 10-3 record. And with this loss, the unranked Iowa State Cyclones will finish their season with a 7-6 record to complete their season. Last but not least, taking a look at the third and final bowl game from yesterday, the New Era Pinstripe Bowl. The unranked Maryland Terrapins would end up beating the unranked Virginia Tech Hokies 54-10. Maryland outscored Virginia Tech 24-10 in the first half before shutting Virginia Tech out 30-0 in the second half. On the losing end of this matchup, the Virginia Tech Hokies were led by their starting quarterback, Connor Blumrick. He threw for 110 yards. He also ran for 11 yards. His lone touchdown came on the ground. He had 121 total yards of offense. Their leading tackler on the defensive end was Tay Daly. He had 5 on the day. And on the winning end of this matchup, the Maryland Terrapins were led by their starting quarterback, Taulia Tagovailoa, Tua's younger brother. Taulia would throw for 265 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also ran for 42 yards. That would be a combined 307 total yards of offense for Taulia Tagovailoa. Their leading receiver, Daryl Jones, would finish with 4 receptions for 111 yards as he would finish with 2 touchdowns on the day. On the defensive side of the ball, Ruben Hippolyte II would finish with the team high in tackles and the game high as he finished with 12. With this win, the unranked Maryland Terrapins of the Big Ten will finish their 2021 bowl or their 2021 season with a 7-6 record. With this loss, the unranked Virginia Tech Hokies from the ACC will finish their season with a 6-7 record. And the last game was actually postponed or actually canceled. But taking a look at what's going on today, the only ranked matchup that's going to take place is going to be the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, as 10th-ranked Michigan State will face off against 12th-ranked Purdue. Taking a look at what went down in the realm of college basketball, starting with the 3rd-ranked team in the nation, the Purdue Boilermakers will go on to host the unranked Nichols Colonels. Purdue beat Nichols 104-90. They won this matchup by 14 after they outscored Nichols by 19 in the first half. On the winning end of this matchup, the Purdue Boilermakers were led in scoring by their center off the bench, Zach Edey. Zach Edey will go on to finish with 21 points and 5 rebounds as well as 2 blocks in 16 minutes. He shot 7 for 8 from the field and he shot 7 for 9 from the foul line. With this win, the 3rd-ranked Purdue Boilermakers are 12-1 as they remain undefeated at home. With this loss, Nichols is 8-6 as they are 2-5 on the road as they remain undefeated or unranked. Taking a look at the 6th-ranked team in the nation, the Kansas Jayhawks hosted the unranked Nevada Wolfpack. Kansas beat Nevada 88-61. They won this matchup by 27 after they outscored Nevada by 12 in the first half and by 15 in the second. On the winning end of this matchup, the 6th-ranked Kansas Jayhawks were led in scoring by their starting guard, Christian Braun. Christian Braun would finish with 22 points. He would also go on to finish with 2 steals and 2 blocks in 32 32 minutes. He shot 8 for 14 from the field and a perfect 5 for 5 from the foul line. With this win, the Kansas Jayhawks are now 10-1 on the season as they remain undefeated at home for the time being. And with this loss, the unranked Nevada Wolfpack are now 6-5 as they have yet to win a game on the road this season. Taking a look at the 10th ranked basketball team in the nation, the Michigan State Spartans hosted the unranked High Point Panthers. Michigan State would beat High Point 81-68. They won this matchup by 13 after they outscored the Panthers by 14 in the second half to overcome their 1-point deficit. On the winning end of this matchup, the Michigan State Spartans were led in scoring by their senior forward Gabe Brown out of Ypsilanti, Michigan. He would go on to finish with 24 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 steals, all in 32 minutes. He shot 7 for 17 from the field, 6 for 13 from 3, and he shot a perfect 4 for 4 from the line. With this win, the 10th ranked Michigan State Spartans are now 11-2 as they are undefeated at home. With this loss, the unranked High Point Panthers are now 6-7 at this point in the year. Taking a look at what's going on with the 11th ranked team in the nation, the Auburn Tigers hosted the 16th ranked LSU Tigers, and in the matchup between the SEC Tigers, Auburn would beat LSU 70-55. Auburn won this matchup by 15 at home after they outscored LSU by 11 in the first half. On the losing end of this matchup, the 16th ranked LSU Tigers were led in scoring by their starting guard Xavier Pinson out of Chicago. Pinson would finish with 13 points and 6 turnovers in 24 minutes as he fouled out. He would go on to finish with, like I said, with his 13 points and 6 turnovers. He shot 3 for 11 from the field and 7 for 8 from the foul line in the 24 minutes he played. On the winning end of this matchup, the Auburn Tigers were led in scoring by their starting forward, Jabari Smith, their freshman out of Fayetteville, Georgia. He finished with 16 points in 30 minutes as he shot 5 for 12 from the field and 4 for 5 from the foul line. Also in Auburn's lineup, their sophomore center out of Noonan, Georgia, Walker Kessler, finished with 16 points, 10 rebounds, and 11 blocks in 29 minutes. He shot 6 for 8 from the field. He made his only three-pointer of the day, and he shot 3 for 4 from the foul line. And, of course, 11 blocks in a college game against a ranked opponent is not that bad. With this win, the 11th ranked Auburn Tigers are 12-1 as they are 1-0 in the SEC. With this loss, the 16th ranked LSU Tigers have lost their first game of the season. They are 12-1. They are now 0-1 in the SEC. Taking a look at what's going on with the 14th ranked team in the nation, the Tennessee Volunteers would face off against the Alabama Crimson Tide at Alabama. Alabama would beat Tennessee 73-68, winning this matchup by 5 after both teams were tied at the end of the first half. On the losing end of this matchup, the 14th ranked Tennessee Volunteers would be led in scoring by their starting forward, Olivier Nkamhoua. Nkamhoua will go on to finish with 15 points and 9 rebounds in 33 minutes. He shot 6 for 17 from the field, and he made both of his foul line attempts. On the winning end of this matchup, the 19th ranked Alabama Crimson Tide would be led in scoring by their forward off the bench, Noah Gurley out of Fayetteville, Georgia. He would go on to finish with 20 points and 10 rebounds in 32 minutes. He shot 8 for 10 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3, and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. With this win, the 19th ranked Alabama Crimson Tide are now 10-3 as they are now 1-0 in the SEC. With this loss, the 14th ranked Tennessee Volunteers are now 9-3 as they start their SEC schedule with an 0-1 record. Taking a look at what's going on with the 15th ranked team in the nation, the Seton Hall Pirates would face off against the 21st ranked Providence Friars. Providence would end up beating Seton Hall 70-65. They won this matchup by 5 after they outscored Seton Hall by 9 in the first half. On the losing end of this matchup, the 15th ranked Seton Hall Pirates were led in scoring by their starting forward Alexis Yetna. Their senior out of Paris would finish with 13 points, 11 rebounds, 11 rebounds and 2 steals, as well as 2 blocks in 38 minutes. He shot 6 for 13 from the field and 1 for 2 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the 21st ranked Providence Friars were led in scoring by their starting forward, Noah Horchler out of Florida. Horchler would finish with 17 points, 13 rebounds, 2 steals, and 3 blocks in 36 minutes. He shot 6 for 11 from the field and 5 for 6 from the foul line. Or it was 5 for 6 from 3, With this win, the 21st ranked Providence Friars are now 12-1 as they are now, They are now 2-0 in the Big East, and with this loss, the 15th ranked Seton Hall Pirates are now 9-2. They are now 0-1 in the Big East to start their season. Taking a look at what's going on with the 18th ranked team in the nation, the Kentucky Wildcats hosted the unranked Missouri Tigers. And in both teams' first SEC matchup, the Kentucky Wildcats would beat the Tigers 83-56. They won this matchup by 27 after they outscored Mizzou by 17 in the first half and by 10 in the second. On the winning end of this matchup, the 18th ranked Wildcats would be led in scoring by their starting forward, Keon Brooks Jr. Keon Brooks Jr., their junior out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, would finish with 17 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 blocks. He did all this in 27 minutes as he shot 7 for 11 from the field and 3 for 4 from the foul line. With this win, the 18th ranked Kentucky Wildcats are 10-2 on the season as they are 1-0 in the SEC. With this loss, the unranked Missouri Tigers are now 6-7 as they are now 0-1 in the SEC. Last but not least, taking a look at what's going on with the 24th ranked basketball team in the nation, the Wisconsin Badgers hosted the unranked Illinois State Redbirds. Wisconsin would beat Illinois State 89-85. They won this matchup by 4 after they outscored Illinois State by 10 in the first half. On the losing end of this matchup, the 24th ranked Wisconsin Badgers were led in scoring by their starting guard, Steven Crowell, their sophomore out of Minnesota. He would go on to finish with 21 points and 9 rebounds in 37 minutes. He shot 7 for 8 from the field, a perfect 2 for 2 from 3, and he shot 5 for 7 from the 3 line. And then Wisconsin starting guard, Johnny Davis out of La Crosse, Wisconsin, would go on to finish with 20 points and 11 rebounds in 43 minutes. He shot 6 for 23 from the field and 8 for 9 from the foul line. With this win, the 24th ranked Wisconsin Badgers are now 10-2. And with this loss, the unranked Illinois State Redbirds are now 8-6. And of course, taking a look at also noticing that there were no big matchups in the NFL, and the NFL will resume on Sunday. Taking a look at what's going on in the NBA, starting off in Detroit, the Pistons hosted the New York Knicks. The Knicks would end up beating the Pistons. This matchup would go in the Knicks' favor. They won this one 94-85. The Knicks won this matchup by 9 after they outscored the Pistons by 16 in the final quarter to overcome their 7-point deficit. On the losing end of this matchup, the Detroit Pistons were led in scoring by their starting small forward, Sadiq Bey. Bey finished with 32 points and 9 rebounds in 43 minutes. He shot 9 for 19 from the field, 6 for 13 from 3, and a perfect 8 for 8 from the foul line. Their starting shooting guard, Hamidou Diallo, finished with 31 points and 13 rebounds, as well as 4 assists and 4 steals. He would do all this as he fouled out in 39 minutes. Diallo shot 13 for 19 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3 as well, and he shot 4 for 7 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the New York Knicks would be led in scoring by their guard off the bench, Alec Burks. Their shooting guard out of Colorado would go on to finish with 34 points and 3 steals in 27 minutes. He shot 12 for 17 from the field, 5 for 8 from 3, and a perfect 5 for 5 from the foul line. With this win, the New York Knicks are now 17-18 on the season, and with this loss, the Detroit Pistons are now 5-28. Jumping out to Chicago, the Chicago Bulls hosted the Atlanta Hawks. The Bulls would end up beating the Hawks 131-117. The Bulls won this matchup by 14 after they outscored the Hawks by 19 in the second quarter alone. On the losing end, the Atlanta Hawks were led in scoring by their elite starting point guard, Trae Young, out of Oklahoma. He finished with 26 points, 3 rebounds, 11 assists, and 7 turnovers in 33 minutes. He shot 10 for 23 from the field, 2 for 7 from 3, and a perfect 4 for 4 from the foul line. On the losing end of this matchup, the Chicago Bulls were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard, Zach LaVine, out of UCLA. He finished with 25 points, 5 assists in 32 minutes as he shot 10 for 13 from the field and 5 for 7 from 3. Their starting small forward, DeMar DeRozan, out of USC, finished with 20 points and 8 assists in 36 minutes. He shot 8 for 18 from the field, and he shot a perfect 4 for 4 from the foul line. With this win, the Chicago Bulls are now 22-10. With this loss, the Atlanta Hawks, who made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, are now sitting at 15-19. Jumping out to Indianapolis, the Indiana Pacers hosted the Charlotte Hornets. The Hornets would beat the Pacers 116-108. The Hornets won this matchup by 8 after they outscored the Pacers by 14 in the first half. On the losing end of this matchup, the Pacers were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard out of Michigan, Karis LeVert. LeVert finished with 27 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals in 39 minutes. He shot 8 for 23 from the field, 4 for 12 from 3, and 7 for 9 from the foul line. On the winning end, on the winning end of this matchup, the Charlotte Hornets were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard out of Louisville, Terry Rozier. He finished with 35 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals and 2 blocks, as well as 3 assists in 38 minutes. He shot 13 for 23 from the field, 5 for 9 from 3, and 4 for 7 from the foul line. The Hornets' elite starting point guard, LaMelo Ball, finished with 21 points, 12 rebounds, and 9 assists in 34 minutes. The former Rookie of the Year would finish shooting 8 for 13 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3, and he would go on to shoot 4 for 5 from the foul line. With this win, the Charlotte Hornets are now 19-7, and with this loss, the Indiana Pacers are now 14-21. Taking a look at what went down in Boston, Massachusetts, the Boston Celtics hosted the LA Clippers. The Clippers would beat the Celtics 91-82. The Clippers won this matchup by 9, after they outscored the Celtics by 7 in the first half. On the losing end of this matchup, the Celtics were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard, their former All-Star Jaylen Brown. He finished with 30 points and 8 rebounds, as well as 2 steals in 40 minutes. Brown shot 13 from 36 from the field, 1 for 13 from 3, and 3 for 5 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the LA Clippers were led in scoring by their starting small forward, Marcus Morris Sr. Morris finished with 23 points and 10 rebounds in 38 minutes. He shot 9 for 21 from the field and 5 for 6 from the foul line. With this win, the LA Clippers are now 18-17. With this loss, the Boston Celtics are now 16-19. Taking a look at what went down in Memphis, the Memphis Grizzlies hosted the LA Lakers. The Grizzlies would beat the Lakers 104-99. The Grizzlies won this matchup by 5 after they outscored the Lakers by 10 in the fourth quarter. On the losing end of this matchup, the Los Angeles Lakers were led in scoring by their goated starting small forward, LeBron James. He finished with 37 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, and 5 turnovers in 38 minutes. He shot 13 for 25 from the field, 8 for 14 from 3, and a perfect 3 for 3 from the foul line. The Lakers' elite starting point guard, Russell Westbrook, would finish with 16 points, 10 rebounds, 12 assists, and 5 turnovers in 40 minutes. As the NBA's all-time leader in triple-doubles, in addition to adding to his total, would shoot 7 for 16 from the field, and he would shoot 2 for 4 from 3. On the winning end of this matchup, the Memphis Grizzlies were led in scoring by their elite starting point guard out of Murray State, Ja Morant. He finished with 41 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, and 6 turnovers in 36 minutes. Morant shot 13 for 27 from the field, 6 for 7 from 3, and he shot 9 for 12 from the foul line. The Grizzlies starting shooting guard, Desmond Bane, would finish with 20 points in 35 minutes. He shot 6 for 18 from the field, and he shot a perfect 5 for 5 from the foul line. With this win, the Memphis Grizzlies are now 22-14, and with this loss, the Los Angeles Lakers are now 17-19 on the season. Jumping out to Phoenix, the Suns hosted the Oklahoma City Thunder from a couple states away, and the Suns would beat the Thunder 115-97. The Suns won this matchup by 18 after they outscored the Thunder by 14 in the fourth quarter and by 10 in the first quarter. On the losing end of this matchup, the Thunder were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard out of Virginia, Ty Jerome. Jerome finished with 24 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals in 35 minutes. Jerome shot 9 for 22 from the field and 5 for 6 from the foul line. The Thunder starting shooting guard, Aaron Wiggins, out of Maryland, would go on to finish with 22 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 steals in 39 minutes. The rookie shot 10 for 19 from the field and made his only free throw attempt on the night. On the winning end, the Phoenix Suns were led in scoring by their elite starting shooting guard, Devin Booker. Booker finished with 38 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists, as well as 2 blocks in 36 minutes. He shot 12 for 24 from the field, 6 for 12 from 3, and 8 for 10 from the foul line. The Suns' elite starting point guard, Chris Paul, finished with 10 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals in 32 minutes. He shot 4 for 9 from the field and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. With this win, the Phoenix Suns are now 27-7. With this loss, the Oklahoma City Thunder are now 12-22. Taking a look now at what went down in Portland, the Trailblazers hosted the Utah Jazz. The Jazz would beat the Trailblazers 120-105. The Jazz won this matchup by 15 after they outscored the Blazers by 9 in the first quarter and then proceeded to outscore the Blazers in every single quarter of the game. On the losing end of this matchup, the Portland Trailblazers were led in scoring by their elite starting point guard Damian Lillard and their starting small forward Norman Powell. Lillard finished with 34 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists in 37 minutes. He would go on to shoot 10 for 23 from the field, 5 for 14 from 3, and he shot 7 for 10 from the foul line. Powell finished with 32 points and 2 rebounds in 43 minutes as he shot 11 for 23 from the field, 4 for 9 from 3, and a perfect 6 for 6 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the Utah Jazz were led in scoring by their elite starting center, Rudy Gobert. Gobert finished with 22 points, 14 rebounds, and 2 blocks in 29 minutes. He shot 8 for 10 from the field, and he shot 6 for 12 from the foul line. Off the bench, the Jazz their small forward off the bench, Rudy Gay, finished with 21 points and 6 rebounds in 24 minutes. He shot 8 for 13 from the field, 3 for 7 from 3, and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. With this win, the Utah Jazz are now 25-9. With this loss, the Portland Trailblazers are now 13-21. Taking a look now what went down in Sacramento, the Kings hosted the Dallas Mavericks, and the Kings would end up beating the Mavericks 95-94. The Kings won this matchup by 1 after they outscored the Mavericks by 22 points in the second quarter. That was actually the only quarter in which they outscored the Mavericks. On the losing end of this matchup, the Dallas Mavericks were led in scoring by their starting point guard, Jalen Brunson, out of Villanova. He finished with 25 points and 6 assists in 36 minutes. He shot 11 for 19 from the field, a perfect 2 for 2 from 3, and he made his only free throw attempt on the night. The Mavericks starting center, Kristaps Porzingis, finished with 24 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 blocks in 35 minutes. He shot 8 for 19 from the field and 7 for 8 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the Sacramento Kings were led in scoring. They were led in scoring by their starting point guard out of Kentucky. De'Aaron Fox finished with 16 points in 34 minutes. He shot 7 for 12 from the field and shot 2 for 4 from the foul line. With this win, the Sacramento Kings are now 15-21. With this loss, the Dallas Mavericks are now 16-18 on the year. That is what the NBA is shaping out to look like. And looking at the two big matchups in the Premier League yesterday, Chelsea hosted Brighton and Hove Albion. This matchup ended up as a 1-1 draw, as Chelsea's lone goal came from their elite Belgian striker, Romelu Lukaku, and Manchester City would end up beating Brentford 1-0, as their lone goal came from their young English midfielder, Phil Foden. With that said, that's everything I have for you from yesterday, Wednesday, December 29th, 2021. I want to thank you for following me with the world of sports as we navigate through it one day at a time. And once all of today's exhibitions are done, I will come back tomorrow on Friday, December 31st, or New Year's Eve for another episode of The Elite, and also to unveil the Elite list for the 2022 year. Thanks for listening. I do hope all is well. I want to thank the ESPN, NCAA, NFL, and NBA websites for giving me everything I need. And with that said, I hope all is well. I'll catch you with another episode immediately after this. And I want to thank everyone for listening to all this episode. I hope all is well, and I'll catch you with another episode tomorrow. Peace out.